Just a minute, Io. Oh, hello. Welcome to Epcot Computer Central. I'm Julie, and this bright bit of energy gets his name from input-output. We call him Io for short. You know, when I'm working here with Io, it's hard to imagine a world without computers. For many people, though, computers seem to come into our lives almost instantly. But with Io's help, we'd like to show you that in one form or another, they've been around just about as long as people.
Wugga, wugga.
Of course, in the beginning, computers were rather simple. From that humble, rocky beginning, calculating devices gradually became more sophisticated. And so it went. By the late 1800s, calculating machines were helping many of us. But even so, they were only as fast as the person using them. In fact, it took 7 years to tabulate the U.S. Census back then. Fortunately, a breakthrough occurred. It came in the form of a card. A punched card. Now, because of tiny perforations, information could be fed in and out of the machines at the unheard of rate of 50 cards a minute. The next step, electric tabulating machines. For decades to follow, they would handle the big business of numbers. But something even bigger was looming in 1946.
Ladies and gentlemen, weighing 30 tons, filling a room 30 feet by 50 feet, packing the punch of 18,000 vacuum tubes. In this corner, ENIAC, the electronic numerical integrator and computer.
Yes, the world had its first electronic computer, capable of performing an amazing 5,000 calculations a second.
You hear that? 5,000 calculations a second. But who can afford it?
Huh. Why, you've got to be a scientist just to turn it on.
And besides, it's impractical as a gift, too.
ENIAC had a few rough edges, but it paved the way for a new series of computers. The UNIVAC family was the first to use magnetic tape instead of punched cards. Yes, computers had come a long way from those first rocky beginnings. Now the next challenge was the vacuum tube itself. Hot, bulky, expensive, and unreliable. Then another breakthrough, one that would change the course of history. It was called the transistor. These solid-state switches were 10 times faster and 100 times smaller than their clumsy, fragile ancestors. Soon after, entire networks of transistors were being packaged on plug-in, printed circuit boards. The miraculous realm of miniaturization was next, with integrated circuits, where vast transistor networks were etched onto tiny chips. Today, we can fit an entire computer on this single microchip. Yet it costs only pennies to make, works faster, and stores more information than the million-dollar computers of yesterday. Together, these advances are bringing astonishing benefits to everyone. Although applications of the computer can be rather simple or very complex, they all share one thing in common: how they work. With Io as our guide, we can get an inside look at one such operation. This department is input. By using keyboards, magnetic disks, voice, and much more, we put data in the computer. Input takes this data and translates it into a string of electronic bits that stand for ones and zeros. This is the only language that the computer understands. The bits are then sent from input to the storage department. Here, millions of bits are sorted and filed. When they're needed, they're retrieved and sent to processing. Here, all mathematical calculations or comparisons are done. Millions of bits can be processed every second. Then, the results are sent to output, where they're translated into the forms we need, such as printed pages, video graphics, even voice. All these departments are part of what we call hardware. But for this hardware to work, another vital department is necessary. That's where control comes in. Using a step-by-step set of instructions from us humans called a program or software, control tells the rest of hardware what to do and when to do it. From input to output, it's a process that's faster than the blink of an eye, available to us in a tiny, tiny package. And because we write the programs, the application of the computer is limited only to our imaginations. That's an unbeatable combination. We humans and the computer providing tremendous potential for the future. For instance, research has shown the potential for computers to control paralyzed muscles. Someday, we think new microcomputers may help restore more normal lifestyles to these people. By using computers, we may one day be able to accurately forecast the weather years into the future. Eventually, by simply talking into wrist computers, we may be capable of translating any language instantly.
能够像下雨一样，可以预测的话。
If only the bus were as predictable as the rain.
That's the future, but it may not really be that far off. Because right here today in Walt Disney World, computers are doing some incredible things. Let's go with Io into the main theater to see our computers perform some backstage magic.